So finally, after all the server nonsense, I was able to get some solid playtime in with the game. I've only stuck my toe into the in-game content, so this video is going to just be about my main playthrough experience, and I'll come back with my in-game thoughts, guides, and builds in other videos. If this is your first time hearing about Outriders, or you never really paid attention to it, Outriders is a third-person looter shooter developed by People Can Fly, who worked on Bulletstorm, Gears of Judgment, and Painkiller. I'm going to start with the good and jump into the bad. I don't know if you guys heard this before, but the game is really fun. There's just something about running into an area with a bunch of enemies and causing all kinds of destruction with bullets, explosions, and powers. And while the gameplay isn't anything exactly new, it's packaged in a way that makes it refreshing. I chose the Trickster as my first class to progress with, and the abilities that it has are great. I'll have some Trickster build guides coming, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see when they go live. The game's difficulty is set by a world tier method. We've seen similar systems used in games like Diablo 3 and Minecraft Dungeons, where the higher difficulty you play on dictates how much better the loot is at the price of harder, more difficult to kill enemies. You have the option for the difficulty to auto scale, or you can stay at a certain tier if it's a difficulty that you like. You always have the option of lowering or raising the difficulty at any point, as long as the level you want to go into is unlocked. There are 15 world tiers in total, and it's nothing to be ashamed of if you decided to just play through the campaign at world tier 3, since 3 is what the developers consider to be normal. I've heard a lot of people say the story was bad, but I didn't think so. If you are a fan of science fiction, then this story is going to be familiar to you, but it doesn't curb your curiosity or interest in going on this journey to find out what happened and where this mysterious signal comes from. You might even have a couple of moments where you're like, oh, wow, that's jacked up. In the demo, there were some ridiculous shaky cam that made the cutscenes hard to watch, but in the full release, they added a slider to smooth out the cam, which made the cutscenes easier to view. Look, I'm not saying the story is going to blow you off your feet and make you question the meaning of life. I'm just saying give it a chance before blowing it off. There's a lot of lore to find in the world, and it's awesome that they took the time to flesh out some stuff. The music. Inan Zur is amazing. I don't need to say more, but I am. The score is like sci-fi adventure, which isn't surprising coming from a composer who has worked on a good amount of projects that either incorporate sci-fi or adventure in some way. There are some really great memorable moments in the soundtrack. One moment that stands out is when you have to clear a room of enemies and there's this intense action music playing with the drums and staccato strings, and it builds up to this grand space adventure theme, very similar to Stargate SG-1. If you haven't heard that theme, look it up. It's great. The sound design in this game hits and misses in some areas. If you're looking for some strong gunfire sounds, it's not really here unless you activate your special ability that increases the firepower of your ammo. However, the ambient sounds and the biomes and the ability sounds are pretty solid. The effects were balanced nicely and did a good job of immersing me into the world. So now that we got out of the good stuff, let's go ahead and jump into the negatives. The biggest one that everyone saw at launch was the server stability issues and constant crashes. So far, it seems that the servers are working okay, but I don't think the fix for PC players crashing has been implemented yet. Now that I'm writing this, I am experiencing a crash on console where I can't change menu tabs without the game completely closing out. We also can't play crossplay between all systems as of recording. The console versions are limited to console and PC to PC, but I'm not sure what category Stadia falls into. There are some bugs and glitches still present in the game. A few times my skill timer just stopped working, so I didn't know if my skill was ready to use or not, and I just had to guess based on how I felt it should be. The character models and cutscenes have some weird mouth glitches, like this is the stuff of nightmares, like bottom lips disappearing, upper lips bunching up like a dog's mouth when their gums get stuck on their teeth. I've had some pathing issues with enemies. There were a couple of beast creatures you have to fight that got stuck in cave entrances. It made for an easy hunt, but something tells me it's not as intended. The map is horrible to read. You just have a layout of the map. You kind of have to guess which way to go and if that's the right direction because you don't even know. I'm sure there are a lot of complaints about bullet sponge enemies, but if you just play on normal difficulty, that's not the case. Once you gear up to compare it to the level of the enemies, things tend to die a little bit better. However, there is one boss that is just BS at higher tiers, and you can beat it if you got time for that kind of headache. If you ever feel like enemies are taking too long to die, just lower the difficulty. You'll still get all the cool looking gear, and any game is designed to be totally different. Same concept, but different in level games. And lastly, at least on Xbox, when you scroll through the map, there is this metalish grindy sound that is so annoying. I know there isn't much bad for me as there is good, and that's what makes this a good game. $60 good? That's, debatable, but I wouldn't have regretted the purchase. I say if you have Game Pass, definitely play it. If you have friends that you want to play with, pick it up. But if you are waiting for the next solo game grind just to keep you busy for a few, you could probably wait, a couple months when the games go on sale. They've been going on sale a lot faster now. But overall, though, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Overall, I put a lot of hours into this game, drained 4 AA batteries in 2 days. I thought these controllers were supposed to have a better battery life. But thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Outriders.